Members of the Catholic Church primarily grow through attending Mass and performing one of the 7 sacraments of the Catholic Church. Classes on spiritual formation offered are usually in preparation for the administration of a particular sacrament. Most members of the Catholic Church will focus on 4: First Communion, Confirmation, Marriage, or Baptism. Their Christian formation classes are called catechism and are necessary to be a confirmed member of the Church. The parallel of confirmation in the Orthodox Church is called chrismation. This is a believer's symbolic entrance into the Pentecost. Because the chrismation solidifies a believer into the Church, most spiritual development is accomplished through weekday liturgies and in classes in preparation for that event. Most modern Orthodox churches forego a full liturgy and gather in classroom for instruction on Orthodox tradition and theology. The Divine Liturgy, weekly, is the priest's chance to inform his congregation and to teach and instruct from the Bible, incongruent with Orthodox theology. Orthodox Christians tie all of their theological and traditional study in direct correlation with the Greek scriptures, as opposed to the Latin texts of the Roman Church. Discipleship in the Pentecostal and emerging church is as diverse as each individual church. It usually follows the bent of the pastor. They have the usual diet of Bible studies, Bible teaching, mission trips, and classes on the basics of Christianity. Perhaps a unique emphasis in both the Pentecostal and the emerging church is their employment of cell groups, or small groups, which gather to discuss individual books, verses, quotes from the Bible, as opposed to theology in general. The Roman Catholic Church has highly organized indigenous charities and ministries which are supported and funded through the offerings of the general church and through designated giving. They reach almost every arm of society. They minister to the poor through missions, the sick through hospitals, the broken through counseling and Catholic charities, and the foreign field through a huge network of monasteries and missions. The Orthodox Church has virtually the same endeavors, albeit on a much smaller scale than the Catholics have been able to achieve. A unique contribution of the Orthodox Church is its unique cultural festivals, which invite the community into the church for entertainment and cultural exchange. Pentecostals, from the beginning, have seen missions as purely for the task of conversions. A common stereotype for Pentecostals is that they are too heavenly minded to be any earthly good. In the beginning, the sole focus of missions and evangelism was largely bent toward evangelism and conversion. Most Pentecostal churches simply did not focus on social programs or community enhancements, giving preference to the thought that one's conversion to Christ and receiving of the Holy Spirit was the best aid that could be given. There are 3 ways Pentecostals are joining the Christian chorus of social engagement. First, they are partnering in greater numbers in parachurch ministries, such as World Vision and the Salvation Army. Second, with the spread of Pentecostalism in the Third World, indigenous local churches are setting up multiple types of community care centers in response to the felt needs of their community. Finally, on a national level, many Pentecostal movements have grown large enough to develop a national missions office, much like Catholics and Orthodox, which oversee international relief efforts and coordinate with NGOs to provide care and assistance. The motive is still for evangelism, but within the last 100 years, the Pentecostal Church has grown to see that earthly good can foster heavenly-minded people. Christians in emerging churches place a high value on spending time within the culture. In emergent churches, they intend to reach people where they are at relationally as their mission and witness. For example, rather than to simply care for the poor, they will often go and live and relocate in poor communities. Rather than give to world missions, they will themselves go and dig wells and live and sponsor a mission in the country of origin. Emerging church missions focus more on individual people or individual neighborhoods and communities, including the online community, rather than the broad-based programs of the Catholic, Orthodox, or now the Pentecostal Church. Leadership. Obviously, for the Catholic Church, the primary leader is the Pope, sometimes called the Bishop of Rome. The structure then follows cardinals, bishops, monsignors, and at the local level, priests in the Catholic hierarchy of leadership. There are also official deacons who serve beneath the priests. Veli-Matti Kärkkäinen of Fuller Theological Seminary describes the rationale behind this singular leader as one who has the authority to promote unity. The Orthodox Church takes a different approach. It takes a first among equals sense with its popes and bishops. Most are organized into hierarchies called a metropolis, with a regional leader who represents a group of local churches. Worldwide councils are held to work out any leadership or theological matters. Leadership in the Pentecostal Church? It's often diverse as it is divided. Because of the tension between the subjective leading of the Holy Spirit and the more objective models of leadership and hierarchy, Pentecostals have no set leader over them, but they would claim the direct witness of the Holy Spirit. Some have hierarchies, and others have leadership councils. Most, however, are led at the local level, with the pastor's heart carrying great authority. Also, within the emerging church, there is no set leader as well. This is what truly makes it perhaps an evolved ecclesiology over Catholic, Protestant, Orthodox, or even some Pentecostal churches. While having no central leader, they provide a value of bringing everybody's voice to the table, rather than heeding the single voice of an authorized leader. Different leadership styles, different movements, yet all moving forward as we go about this 21st century in the global church.